This week's live lesson, we're going to talk about describing your first time doing something. Today we're going to talk about this in 3 different patterns. We're going to talk about past tense situations. We're going to talk about the first time you did something and how old you were the first time you did it. And we're going to talk about your future first times of things. So today we're going to practice a few different tenses, and we're also going to compare some very similar grammar points. I hope that this lesson helps you to answer some questions about these very common sentence patterns. So as you join, please make sure press the like button, click the like button so many times because it helps other people to find the lesson, and also please share this video so that other people can see the content. I want to mention really quickly one super important announcement about this banner at the bottom of the screen. It says, download your free 2,000 word ebook. Our team has this free PDF ebook at EnglishClass101.com. These are the 2,000 core words of English. The core words of English are the 2,000 most commonly used words in the English language. That means these are the words that are the most important for daily life conversations. So if you want to make sure you study the most important words first, go download this free ebook. Check the link below the video on YouTube or above and to the side of the video on Facebook. You need your name and your email address only to make a free account. So go get that. I will say hello in the chat and then we will begin. If you want to get started, your first question is right here. So very quickly in the chat, hello everybody on YouTube. I'll start with YouTube now. So YouTube, hello Franklin, Victor from Mexico City. What's up, Marwin? Robson from Brazil. Nahora, hi. John, what's up? Dimitri, hello. Rodrigo, hi. Let's see, Ina, hi, Natalie, Jonathan, Santiago, someone in Korean, I cannot read your name, hello. Welcome everybody, Facebook, hi, Rosa. I am going to share and like the video on Facebook now. You can do it at the same time. Like and share. All right, cool. Let's begin. I always talk too long, so let's get started earlier today. Let's begin with our first question. If you are ready to answer this in the comments, go for it. I will check your answers live as best that I can. Okay, let's get started with question 1. What did you do for the first time recently? What did you do for the first time recently? Okay, any activity for the first time recently. Here is a pattern you can use to express that first time experience, okay? The pattern is I, simple past tense verb for the first time and time point. Please note, time point. This is not length of time, but the point in time. Yesterday, last week, last night, and so on, okay? So we have 2 points that we need to add ourselves. The time point at the end of the pattern and the simple past tense verb at the beginning, okay? Let's look at 3 example sentences and I will check your examples too, okay? So the first example here, number 1, I traveled internationally for the first time last year. I traveled internationally for the first time last year. In this sentence, traveled is our simple past tense verb, traveled. Okay, I traveled internationally here for the first time. This shows us the first experience. Please note, we must use for in this sentence. We do not use by or no preposition. For the first time. Think about this like a set expression. Lastly, last year. This is our time point. So yes, last year is a little open. Last year is 1 year point in time, okay? But we can use this as one time point, one big time point. I traveled internationally for the first time last year, okay? Let's go to example sentence number 2, and I will check your answers in the chat just after this, okay? Let's take a look at number 2. I baked bread for the first time last week. Very simple task, right? I baked bread for the first time last week. Here, baked This is my simple past tense verb. Bake plus D. I baked. This is past tense with that t pronunciation. I baked. Okay? I baked bread again for the first time. Shows this was my first experience. And last is the time point. Last week. Last week. I baked bread for the first time last week. Okay? Last one, third example sentence, and then I will come to check the chat. Okay? I bought an iPhone for the first time last summer. I bought an iPhone for the first time last summer. Okay? Again, simple past tense verb, bought in this case. So bought is an irregular past tense verb. I bought an iPhone for the first time last summer. Here is my point in time, okay? So this is a very simple pattern you can use to express your first experience of something. I'm going to come to the chat to see what your first experiences are. Patrick wrote, I went to the airplane museum for the first time, so last Sunday. You have in here. You don't need to use in these sentences. Last Sunday, last week, last summer. No preposition there. Last week, last Sunday, last Saturday, whatever. No preposition there. I went to the airplane museum for the first time last Sunday. Okay? Nahora wrote, I read an interesting novel by Isabel Allende for the first time last month. Okay, cool. Does she write lots of stories? I don't know that writer, but Isabel Allende. So that makes it sound like Isabel Allende maybe is a famous writer or has many different books. That sounds like, oh, I had my first experience with this famous author last month, yeah? So nice one, okay. Jonathan wrote, I watched Alicia's videos for the first time in the middle of the night last week. Okay, really? Haven't you been on this channel before? I don't know, maybe it's just an example sentence. Okay, for the first time in the middle of the night last week. So do you want to say, I watched the videos for the first time at night last week? Or do you want to say, that was the time last week that you watched the videos for the first time? There is a little bit of unclear information there, but very close. Robson wrote, I talked calmly to a British native speaker last night. Oh, was that your first time? If so, congratulations. That's a good feeling for sure, okay? Sorry, I missed the Korean name. What was it? I forget. I started driving a car for the first time last year. So that one, I drove a car for the first time last year. So remove that started. I drove a car for the first time last year. If you want to make it clear you are starting something, starting a new action, I'll give you some patterns at the end of the lesson to talk about that starting like a new regular action. So I hope that I will have a way to help you with that there. New Nori, sorry. Thank you so much. Okay. Wow, there's a lot. Oh my gosh. Roni wrote, so you have ride. Simple past tense verb. Can you fix your sentence there, Roni? I ride a scooter. Change that past tense verb. You need a past tense verb there. Okay. John wrote, I watched a 4D movie for the first time last weekend. Okay, YouTube, you got a bunch. I will come back to you in just a moment. Facebook, come on, Facebook. Your YouTube classmates are winning. Facebook wrote, let's see, Rosa, I cooked white spaghetti for the first time last month. What is white spaghetti? Is that sauce? I don't know what that is. Please explain. White spaghetti. Okay. Come on, Facebook. I see there are many of you watching. You can send some comments. There are lots of comments in the YouTube chat. Okay, YouTube, I'll read a couple more and then we'll go to the second part. For the first time, Natalie wrote, my painting was sold for the first time last month. Is that true? Are you an artist? In that case, I would probably say, like, I sold a painting for the first time. Like say, I did it. I sold a painting for the first time. Instead of using my painting was sold. Like I think in English, we would use a very active sentence for that. I sold a painting for the first time last month. If that's true, congratulations. That's very important. That's a nice milestone. Okay, great. I'm gonna continue to part 2 because I tend to talk too much. So if I missed your comment, don't worry, I will try to check it in part 2. So please make sure to send another comment in the chat. I will make sure to try to read. Okay, let's take a quick break. I will remind you very quickly about this banner at the bottom of the screen. It says, download your free 2,000 word ebook. if you have not seen it, oh my gosh, these are the 2,000 core words of English. The core words of any language are the most commonly used words in the language. These are the most important words for daily life conversation. So if you want to practice the most important words first, you can find this, download this. It's a free PDF. You can put it on your computer, you can put it on your phone, you can print it out, you can make notes on it, go crazy. So you can find this for free at EnglishClass101.com. Check the link below the video, YouTube, and above the video, Facebook. So check it here, and you can find everything you need just with your name and your email address. So please check it out. Okay, let's continue on to part 2. If you have not, please make sure to like and share this video. Yeah, it helps other people to find the lesson, which is really, really helpful. Okay, let's continue. Some more comments are coming in on Facebook. Fever wrote, I learned programming in Python for the first time last month. Ah, that's cool. Yeah, I probably would say I studied programming in Python. Learned sounds like you finished learning everything. Yeah, so I would recommend you use I studied programming in Python. Okay, Fian wrote, I can't find the link. Click the link not in the chat, but on Facebook. Go like make a video small. There's a link above the video on Facebook. Check that link there. Okay, let's continue. Part 2. Part 2. The key question is, at what age? At what age did you do something for the first time? At what age did you do something for the first time? So this question is asking, how old were you when you did something for the first time? Okay, here is our pattern response. When I was age, okay? So when I was 8, when I was 10, when I was 20, whatever, anything, okay, yeah. So when I was age, you can use a number, or you can say when I was number, years old. Both are okay. When I was 8 or when I was 8 years old. Both are okay. When I was age, I past tense verb for the first time. Okay? So you'll notice this part, I past tense verb, this is the same thing as this. Yeah? So this part is the same as part 1. So if you sent a comment for part 1, think about it in this grammar pattern now, in this sentence pattern. How old were you when you did that thing? Let's look at the 3 example sentences, and then I will come to check. First, number 1, when I was 15, I drove a car for the first time. When I was 15, I drove a car for the first time. Here is the age, yeah? When I was 15 years old is also okay. I drove. This is my past tense verb. So drive becomes drove in past tense. I drove a car for the first time. This is true. When I was 15, I drove a car for the first time for me. Okay, good. I see some examples coming. Keep them coming. I will come to check in just a moment. Number 2, when I was 18, I ate sushi for the first time. When I was 18, I ate sushi for the first time. I don't know if this is true. For me, I don't remember. But here is the age. When I was 18, or when I was 18 years old, I ate. Past tense verb, not eat. Eat is incorrect. When I was 18, I ate sushi for the first time. Great. Finally, number 3, I see some examples coming in. Some of these are very funny. Okay, number 3, when I was 8, I broke a bone for the first time. When I was 8, I broke a bone for the first time. Age, so 8 years old, little kid. And maybe this is a new vocabulary word, broke a bone. Broke a bone. So broke is the past tense form of break, right? Like to break something like this. When we break a bone in our body, the hard white thing that makes our skeleton in our body, when we break that, we say, I broke a bone. Yeah, Cool. Okay, that's all my examples. Now I'm going to check yours. YouTube, you have a bunch. Facebook, do your best. Catch up. You can do it, Facebook. YouTube, let's see. Ooh, Soledad has a cute one. I fell in love for the first time last year. That's that one. Great one. I had to read that. That's super cute. Let's look at your age examples. Nahora wrote, when I was 24, I got married for the first time. It was a disaster. Oh my gosh, is that true? That's a very intense example sentence. Perfect grammar. I love that example sentence, but I hope that it is better for you now. Paloma wrote, when I was 5, I learned how to ride a bike for the first time. Great, okay. Jose wrote, when I was 8 years old, I watched Batman. Great, you remember the age of Batman, your first Batman experience? Feelings wrote, when I was 16, I loved someone for the first time. Oh, I love that. I love your romantic examples today. Jess wrote, when I was 25, I gave birth to my firstborn. Wow, that's a great example. Okay. Patrick wrote, when I was 5 years old, I learned to ride my bike for the first time. Okay. Or I learned to ride a bike for the first time. That one, like, when we use learn, I want to take a maybe side note. I've seen this a couple times today. Learn is something we often use when we finish our studies on something, yeah? Usually we use study to talk about the process of learning something. When we use learn, it sounds like I finished that, yeah? Like I learned how to make that recipe, it's done, yeah? So in that case, in that example, like ride a bike, we usually say, native speakers usually say, what was your example? When I was 5 years old, I rode my bike for the first time. Just get rid of learned there, yeah? I rode my bike for the first time. All right, Natalie wrote, when I was 8, I passed the piano test. Level 1, nice one. Okay, Jonathan wrote, when I was 12, I learned how to drive a motorcycle. Same thing. When I was 12, I drove a motorcycle for the first time. So get learn out of there, yeah? Just past tense, so don't put this learn, not I learned how to for the first time, okay? Let's see, Plaki wrote kind of the reverse. The first time I went to English class, I was 43 years old. So I was 43 years old, or when I was 43 years old, I went to English class for the first time. So that's a different way to say that, okay? Others that I can actually read. Some of you are writing things that I should probably not read out loud. Let's see what Facebook has. Fever wrote, when I was 16, I saw a ghost for the first time. Ooh, for the first time. Does that mean you have seen more ghosts? That's what it implies, okay. Davey wrote, when I was 14, I had my first pet. Okay, good. That's a different pattern, but it's perfect. I had my first pet. Great. Edwin wrote, when I was 10, so 10, not 10 age, when I was 10 or when I was 10 years old, I fell from the second floor. So in American English, we say floor. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you're okay. That's very dangerous, okay? Others, let's see, Marshall wrote, when I woke up, I didn't expect to read such varied examples. Indeed, we have lots of interesting examples today. I love it. Let's look at one more. Soledad wrote, when I was 9 years old, I ate a croissant for the first time. Love that. Who doesn't love a good croissant? Okay, great. Let's take one more quick break and then we're going to go to a different grammar point for part 3. How do you talk about those future firsts? Like when you have plans to take a class or you plan to start a new hobby or a new job, how do you express that? Okay, let's take a quick break and go on. Very, very quickly, if you missed it, our team has a 2,000-word ebook for you for free. Love it. You can find this from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube or above the video up here, Facebook. Make the video small, check the link over here. You can find it for free. These are the most commonly used words in everyday English. If you want the daily conversation words, the words that are the best to learn first, go download this. It is totally free. You just need your name and your email address to get that. Okay, let's continue to the last part for today's lesson. If you haven't, also, please, 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 make sure to hit the like button and share this video because it helps other people find today's lesson. All right, part 3, let's go. Part 3, upcoming first-time experiences. Upcoming means it's coming up, right? Something that is going to happen very soon, yeah? So I have 3 patterns here, and you can see maybe we're using going to and just the basic future progressive tense here, okay? So let's take a look at these 3 patterns to talk about what's going to happen for you in the future for the first time, all right? I'm going to start verb in the ing form. I'm going to start ing, okay? That's pattern 1. You can use this one. 2, I'm going to verb. Basic going to pattern. Yeah, easy, right? 3rd, I'm verb-ing, right? So we can use all 3 of these patterns, okay? So this question, we can put, I'll write this on the board to make it easy. What are you going to do? What are you, what are you going to do for the first time? Okay? What are you going to do for the first time? Maybe something soon, like next week or next month or next year, yeah? What are you going to do for the first time? Sorry, it's a little hard to see. The marker's a bit light. But let's look at 3 examples, and then I will come to the chat. Now is your last chance for today's live lesson, so get your examples in quickly. Okay, first, number 1. I'm going to start learning some new software next month. I'm going to start learning some new software next month. I talked about this verb learning, right? I talked about the verb to learn. We usually don't use learn until we complete the learning process. However, you can use it to talk about beginning your process. That sounds very natural. So in this case, I'm going to start learning. Start learning. This part, start plus the ing form, is pattern number 1. I'm going to start learning something. Okay, that sounds great. So if you are going to start a new hobby, or if you are going to take a new class, or study a new language, you can use this pattern. Okay, in this case, I chose next month as my future point in time. Okay, so this one, just like example 1, we use a time point here. Okay. So choose a time point, not a length of time. Okay, 2, I'm starting a new job tomorrow. I'm starting a new job tomorrow. So starting here, this is pattern number 3. I'm verbing. I'm starting a new job tomorrow. You might think, so why should I use I'm starting? Why not this one? I'm going to start. What's the difference, right? So when we use this pattern, like just the verb in the ing form, instead of I'm going to start, we use this for like very strong decisions, or for statements we have strong like emotions behind. In this case, in sentence 2, the person is really excited, right? I'm starting my new job tomorrow. That's an exciting moment. They have lots of energy, and maybe they feel nervous, but there's a strong emotional feeling there, yeah? For this reason, it sounds more impactful, it sounds stronger to say starting instead of I'm going to start. I'm going to start is more neutral, like not excited, not nervous, just I'm going to start. So starting a new job tomorrow sounds more excited. That's the difference here. Okay, last one, number 3. Next week, I'm going to ride a horse for the first time. Next week, I'm going to ride a horse for the first time, okay? Here, I have next week at the beginning of the sentence. This is my point in time at the beginning. That is also okay to do. Next week, I'm going to ride a horse for the first time. So, as I said, this sounds like a simple report. Next week, I'm going to ride a horse for the first time. All right, so we can use these 3 patterns to talk about something we're going to do in the near future, okay? I don't see examples on YouTube. YouTube, what happened? You guys were so excited in part 2. Where's your energy? Where's your enthusiasm for part 3? Facebook has some. Davey wrote, tomorrow I'm going, so you make sure I'm going to drive a car for the first time. I'm going to drive a car for the first time. Is that true? Good luck. Okay. Foreign wrote, I can't open this link. You're dropping a PDF. marketing team maybe can address that. Just the customer service team, I think, can try to help you with that. Rosa wrote, I'm going to start watching videos in French next year. I'm going to start watching videos in French next year. Why next year? Why not tomorrow or today? I don't know if that's a true example. Okay. Hello to everyone saying hello to me. Welcome. YouTube. There we go. Feelings wrote, next week I'm going to start singing for the second time. What does that mean? So if you want to talk about an action you stopped once and then you're going to try again, you can use again to talk about that. Like next week, I'm going to start singing again. Or I'm going to start singing lessons again. So just use again instead of like for the second time. When we use for the first time, it's kind of like a special start point, yeah? So I recommend next week I'm going to start singing again, or I'm going to start singing lessons again, okay? John wrote, next week I'm going to start eating. So start here. Next week I'm going to start eating. When you put start, when you want to link start and another verb together, start eating, start drinking, start exercising, yeah? I'm going to start eating healthy, okay? Good. Other ones. Paloma, next week I'm starting to study Spanish. So again, when you use this verb, start. So next week next week I'm going to start studying Spanish. That sounds better. Next week I'm going to, so use this pattern, I'm going to start studying Spanish. Yeah? So start plus ing verb. That one sounds the best. You know, I wrote, thanks. I'm going to try this new restaurant downtown for the first time tomorrow. Thanks for putting that, your name there. That helps me a lot. Okay, Roni wrote, next week, did you just do this, another one? Next week, same person. Don't forget this, I am, don't forget your verb. I'm going to try this, what was it? I'm going to, where did your example go? Oh, I'm gonna teach my friend how to drive. Anyway, I'm now officially at the end. I have to stop now. It is time for me to go. So I hope that I got a chance to answer at least one comment from everybody that sent something in the YouTube chat today. That was super awesome. It was exploding. I love it when the chat explodes. But I have to say goodbye for today. So if you want to take a screenshot of today's lesson information, now is your chance. Go crazy. Woo! Okay. So that is all for today. I hope that you got some good information about how to talk about your first experience of something, because this is very useful actually, especially if you live in a different country from where you were born, or if you are traveling somewhere. This is super, super helpful to know. So I hope it was helpful for you. Next week, I'll be back, of course, for next week's live lesson. Let me see, what am I going to talk about next week? I forgot. Let me check the schedule. Next week, next week we're going to do a good old review talking about your plans in English. So please join me, because we are going to use these grammar points again. These I'm going to, yeah? I know I've noticed already in the chat, we need to practice this grammar point. So please join me next week to practice these future tense grammar points to talk about your plans that are coming up, because I can see some of you need to practice this. Okay? So have, let's see, I've told you that is next week, sorry, the time. Next week that will be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. If you don't know your local time, please Google it, or you can set a notification on Facebook or on YouTube so you get a little pop-up as soon as we hit the start button here. Don't you love that? I love that. Okay, so please join me again next week. Thank you so much for sending your great examples in the chat today, sending your questions. I thought that was super, super awesome. And of course, thank you so much for liking and sharing the video. You can find my Instagram link from the YouTube description if you want to find me there. Otherwise, make sure you check out the 2,000-word ebook from EnglishClass101.com to get all of that awesome vocabulary information. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and I will see you again next time. Bye!